So what does $500,000 buy?
Basically, we've got the reserved space for the period during the Olympic Games on a dedicated basis, and for a period of time just before the Games on a quasi-reserve basis.
It wasn't really announced, though.
That
was Sean digging that up, wasn't it? It wasn't really announced. How many of these other sort of hidden Olympic costs are there out there?
Well, bear in mind that the booking of that space was done by the protocol office. It wasn't done by our ministry, nor was it done by the Olympic Secretariat. That was done by the protocol office, primarily because, as this is an international event, there's a lot of dignitary type responsibilities that our Lieutenant Governor has to perform, as well as the Premier and other world leaders who are coming to Vancouver for this event. So that would be a question I'd defer to them.
So how long are you renting it for?
My understanding is that it is booked fully on a dedicated basis for the period of time around the Games, and then for, I believe it's about a week before, on a quasi-reserve basis. So basically we've got the rights to it for half of that time.
What I'm trying to understand is why 5 suites at Terminal City Club's hotel was booked as part of this deal. Why do we need to be putting people up at the Terminal City Club?
Well, the responsibilities that our ministry has to do with business hosting, and that would have to do more with the banquet rooms and the types of venues for holding receptions and dinners and meetings. And so it is quite conceivable that meetings could actually take place in some of the suites as well, but that will be determined closer to the Games.
Could you answer the question you wouldn't answer in the House, which is why was this done without tendering?
The contract was done without tendering primarily because it's the only facility, or is deemed by the protocol office to be the only facility downtown which had the combination of the security requirements, the flexibility of the space, and the size to accommodate the number of people that are expected at some of the different events that are anticipated being held during the Olympic and Paralympic Games.
How did they determine that it was the most suitable without tendering?
That would be a question I'd refer to the protocol office.
Now, does this cover just the space to have it booked? Does it cover food throughout, or are there more costs?
I am advised that the contract that exists covers both a food and a space component as well.
Alcohol?
I beg your pardon?
Alcohol? Like what? I'm curious. What do you get for $500,000? Is it a couple of little sandwiches, or is it champagne?
Well, I'm the fellow who's interested in filling the space. I'm a little less interested in what they're actually serving to the folks who are going to be showing up, but I can certainly get you that answer.
I'm wondering what we're getting for the money.
Yeah, it's a fair question. I can get you that
Is
answer.
it a lot of money? Did it strike you as a lot of money to award without a contract?
Well, it struck me as being a great space to use for the people who are coming here. When you've got some of the captains of industry and some of the most prominent investors in the world, some of the most prominent scientists and technology people, academics coming, and business leaders coming, that this is a very appropriate space. It's one of the most central business hosting spaces in Vancouver, and to be able to use it for the Olympic Games, I think, is most appropriate.
The contract specifically states that the province will be providing its own wine. So does that mean the province is picking up the bill for wine?
I don't know the answer to that question.
What else are we doing for the captains of industry? We've got Olympic tickets. We've got this. What else is?
Well, you have to remember when you say this is an economic development opportunity, right? So what our main job in our ministry is to, if you will, play the role of concierge as much as anything else. So in the case of the people that are coming, we are working with various business groups around town. I think of, for example, the BC Technology Industry Association will be hosting an event. So we will help them by providing a facility for them. We will help them with RSVP management as they invite the people who they know to be coming from around the world, or those who they would like to come from around the world. We will help them with RSVP management, making sure that people know where the place is, and we will make the facility available to them and help promote it through kind of a centralized calendar of sorts to make sure that it maximizes the opportunity for them. That's one of probably about 24 events that we're anticipating will be held during a very short period of time.
Is this $500,000, is that out of your ministry's budget, and does that count as part of the government's overall Olympic expenses?
The $500,000 for the Terminal City Club is actually not out of my ministry's budget, no.
So is
it an Olympic
that part
expense?
of the Olympics expense that we have talked about?
That would be a question I would defer to that ministry, actually, because I know that when we speak of hosting the Olympic Games and staging the Olympic Games, building the venues, et cetera, I mean, you can take, I've heard this conversation go in a lot of different ways, and you can take the cost of the Olympic Games to any size that you wish, depending on what you wish to include.
Is it reasonable to consider this an Olympic event?
I think that is reasonable to take the people who are coming from around the world, likely the world's largest trade show, if you will, with all of them coming here and make sure that they're hosted appropriately so they see the absolute benefit of investing in British Columbia.
Do you consider this part of the expense of putting on the games?
I consider this an opportunity to show the world the best of what BC has to offer.
How can we get an overall, you say depending on what you wish to include. We don't really have a listing of what we, to choose from in terms of what we would wish to include. Why did this have to be dug up? Should there be better reporting, or is there a spot that we're missing that lists the kind of expenses that we can look at as associating with the Olympic Games or not?
Well, I look at our ministry as an example. Our ministry has for years and years and years and years conducted a lot of the same types of activity that are going to be done during the Olympic Games. So we have, and think of the Asia Pacific office that we have down in Robson Square. I have a team of people who for years have been organizing trade missions, both people and hosting delegates coming from other countries. We do that on behalf of the people of British Columbia to ensure that we're maximizing the trade that we do with other countries, and we leverage their time and their investment in coming here to the betterment of British Columbians. That type of activity is not new. Our ministry's been doing that for years, and we're really good at it. So if you look at our ministry this year, the difference between this year and any other is we've got a whole lot more people coming to town all at the same time. And so those kind of line items in our ministry, as an example, have been there for years. The difference is this year, they're highly focused during a period of time when we got the world coming to our
Do you
doorstep.
buy them
We have
tickets
last question
for
here.
Canucks or BC Lions?
I wish I could get Canucks tickets, but what was the, I missed it.
Well, in the regular course of business, do you buy tickets for Canucks and BC Lions and that sort of stuff for these people who are coming?
The various hosting things that we do through the course of a given year could involve a variety of different things, but to my knowledge, we do not buy tickets to the Canucks or the BC Lions.
Thanks, everyone.